go. Let's go, let's go. Stay blessed, keep stacking, turn up my mic. Welcome to the Real Bread Life. Welcome to the Real Bread Life. Welcome to the Real Bread Life. Let's go. Welcome back, Real Bread Life. My next episode is with Trenton. Trenton works for Performance Food Group out of Northern Virginia. I met Trenton in Chesapeake, Virginia. We happened to bump into each other in the lobby of the hotel. We got to kicking it, and he felt as though it would be all right for me to interview him, so I did. Little history about the company. The company's been around for over 100 years. One of the guys that founded it started out peddling groceries to customers in his neighborhood. It went on to grow into a distribution company. They service over 120,000 customers, and they have about 200,000 products that they deliver. So with that being said, they cover a lot of ground, and Trenton's one of their drivers. He was willing to talk to me, and we're going to get into it. So thank you for listening. Stay blessed, keep stacking. I hope you like the episode. Okay, welcome to another episode, Real Bread Life. I am Jay Rome, and I'm in Virginia right now. We're doing organic, on-the-spot, real-time interviews with people I've encountered and came in contact with who happen to be vendors or in the business or something similar to what we do. So let's welcome my guest. What's your name?
Trenton.
And say it again?
Trenton.
Trenton. And where are you from, Trenton?
I'm from Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time out and speaking with us. Okay, so me and you met right here in the lobby of the hotel, and we started talking, and I felt it would be good for you to share some of your experiences and where you're from and what you do. Could you tell the people and myself a little bit of what you do in the business that you're in?
Well, I'm in the business of transportation, transporting product from one place to another.
Okay. Specifically, what company do you work for?
Well, I work for a company called Performance Food Group. My division specifically is Performance Food Service of Manassas.
Okay.
Prior name was Reinhardt Food Service.
Reinhardt Food Service. How long have you been driving?
I've been driving for, I want to say about 11 years.
11 years. Now, I know you're local in the Northern Virginia area.
Yes.
Have you been further?
Oh yes, I've been as far as Oregon, Washington, California.
Okay. By choice, are you staying more local now?
Oh yes, local is the way to go when you have a family. My wife told me probably about 9 years ago when I started with this company that I'm gonna have to get a local job because I told her. I said she was pregnant, so I said you might be having twins, and then we went to get the test results back about whether she's having boys or girls or one boy or two, and it was twins. So
right.
Ever since then, I've been local.
Okay. And how many years ago was that?
Shoot. I've been with this company for 9 years.
Okay.
So.
How old are the twins?
9.
Okay. Okay.
Very nice.
Okay. That's when that decision was made.
Yes.
So before this company, that's when you were all over the road.
Oh yes.
Okay, that was when you made the transition to stay home.
So I would say to be approximately about 10 and a half years of a job.
Okay. Very good. Mm-hmm. So during the pregnancy and everything like that.
Right.
So okay, good for you. So with you saying you stayed more local, with that shift coming off the road, was it the transition, was it an easy transition?
Yes. Well, I'm gonna say it like this. I enjoy driving around the country.
Right.
You know,
Experiencing
the
different
problem
things
is
and
that, you know, truckers that go across the country, they don't make money unless they're rolling.
Okay.
You know, so that truck ain't rolling, you ain't making any money. So that means, you know, you have to stay gone. Because, you know, especially if you work for a mega carrier, because you have to pretty much be in circulation. You know, they have rotations. You know, dispatchers, they give things out to the drivers, you know, in kind of a rotation. You first to California, you're going to get the next load out. Then I'm coming in, I might get the next load out. There might even be a couple favorites that they'll bypass me and give the load to them.
And that affects your money.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So now with the company you're with now, you know exactly where you're going.
Oh, I know exactly where I'm going.
You know what your check's going to be.
Yes.
And you can plan and structure your life around that.
Pretty much.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Now, when you got into trucking, was it something you thought you always wanted to do, or did someone introduce it to you? How did that work?
Well, trucking was never in my mind.
Okay, so that wasn't the plan.
I did data and voice infrastructure, electrical work.
Interesting.
I did parts delivery for an auto distributor, a well-known person, you know, who started off small and just blew up and owns multiple businesses and stuff right now.
Okay.
I won't disclose his name, but you know, pretty much he's got an Amazon. He still does parts delivery, like, you know, collision parts, you know, front fenders, bumpers.
And someone you started out with.
I started contract work, you know.
Started contracting with him.
And I also worked with an office mover company as a supervisor. Actually, the company was named Office Movers. They went out of business.
Okay, so logistics is kind of.
Oh, I love it. You know, okay. I love the movement. I love the movement of product. You know, things, goods. You know, that people need. You know, to make sure they're there. I mean, during COVID, we were moving. I mean, they started doing online orders everywhere, and business started bumping again, despite the fact that people couldn't go anywhere.
E-commerce spiked high during COVID.
Yes.
And if you were in logistics and you capitalized doing it the right way, then good for
you made money.
You made a lot of money. Okay.
But we were effective. We had to furlough some people. My company. I wasn't on that number. You know, I was a little bit higher in seniority.
Okay.
But you know, a lot of people did get furloughed. Some by choice, some not by choice.
Yeah, that's the way the ball bounced, the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, it was a horrible time, you know. But things kind of pretty much leveled out now. I mean, as far as people going out eating, that's where I make my money from. You know, I get commissions. You know, basically on every case that's sold. You know, I get a percentage of the case.
Oh, so it's commission based. So it's not just
I get. My company, our facility, our division, pretty much.
Okay.
We do have a base pay plus what we would make per case. So if you have a base rate, you know that's good. You're going to get that. That's not going to change.
Guaranteed a certain amount of money every week.
But when it comes to the percentage we get for per case, that's where you're making money. So if you get 1,000 cases for one day, then you know you're gonna make, you know, a pretty good check. I mean,
so now with that, when you say that as far as on the cases, so would that a full load versus a half a load?
Yes.
That obviously simple math.
Simple math.
So you're looking to have your truck full most of the time.
And it's based on, you know, how much you can handle. I mean, some drivers can't handle as much.
Do you have to unload the truck yourself?
Oh, everything.
So that's where the hustle comes in.
80,000 pounds. The whole tractor, trailer, and the product, it could be close to 80,000 pounds. And you got to deliver probably, if you're on like maybe a 2-day route, it'll be about 38,000 pounds.
Okay.
You know, in a reefer unit, you know, you're sitting at maybe 78, 79,000 pounds altogether. You know.
There is the hustle.
Uh-huh.
It's pallet jack.
Yes.
on and off the truck.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe. See, I don't have a lift gate. I choose not to have one because
what's the difference? What's the pros and cons of, like you said, choose not to have the lift gate versus having it?
So a lot of drivers think it's easier just to pull it off the back and then to break it down. I don't tend to want to do that because if it's raining, then I have a problem. You know, I guess you just have to move faster if you have a lift gate.
Yeah. No, I like to hear that, and this is good information. And the reason why I interview people and I'm trying to get this information out in all different areas of entrepreneurship and business and what we do as far as being deliveries, whether it's a semi, box truck, pickup truck, or van. People that want to get into the business don't know these things,
right.
And those little details make a difference.
So now the little things, some of the little things is like company secrets, which I can't disclose,
right?
Because you know how you load a trailer for a driver depends on how fast they can get it done.
Break that down when you say how you load it.
So if you load a trailer that a driver has to dig for products, say you know. One side of the pallet versus the side you're working from, that will make it difficult. And sometimes they mess up, and I mean, every company does it. I mean, food service, you know, you have workers in the warehouse who, you know, they get paid by doing so many pallets and this and that, and they're trying to get as much done as possible. So being that some of that's incentive based for them, they're not inclined to necessarily put the pallets, design the pallets, create the pallets in a way that would be beneficial for us.
Right. So I get it. So when you say that, I'm going to just say this, and I'll put some pictures up just to give context in this video, because with me or with us, we load the truck. When we do our bread, some of us load front to back, back to front, the whole truck.
Right.
Some load they'll leave a right side so they can walk down. Some load left and right and leave a path in the middle.
Exactly.
So as they unload, they work off the truck that way.
Right.
So I'm assuming it's the same.
Exactly. It's the same. It's all based on the route. So every route's different. You have a dock stop, then you need a pallet. You need that pallet for that stop. Whether it's stop 3, you need it on the rear of the trailer. If you're working a normal stop, then you want it coming from the middle of the trailer, which is the side door,
right,
where you can put it on the ramp.
That's what I was going to say. And I've seen trucks, and when I see deliveries at other businesses, they have that side door open and the ramp. But so that's all how you load.
You know,
on your stop
it depends. I see companies, they have to come from, you know, 3 doors. You know, they got to come from the rear door, the side door, and the head of the trailer door. Gotcha. You know how that increases the amount of time it takes you to do a stop.
And that time is important.
Exactly.
So with that being said, let's say some unforeseen situation happens and you end up at a stop. Product falls, skid tips over.
Oh, it happens.
Someone hasn't opened the door and you're sitting there waiting. Does that count towards your driving time on the road with a DOT checkpoint or something like that?
Well, you have 14 hours to be on duty. You have 11 hours to drive a tractor trailer.
Right.
You have, you know, basically a gap of 3 hours in between, but that gap closes real fast.
Right.
Then you have to take a half an hour break, depending on how far you're driving.
And I'm not sure. I'm just asking. Are all the trucks digital now, or they still use?
We're all complete digital.
As far as I'm saying,
it's not like every 15 minutes, 15-minute blocks and stuff, and you could pretty much I didn't stop now, but I could just put this here on my paper log. Nah, it's down to the second.
Yeah, they plug in now, right?
Like to the second. You know, I can't even move my truck before it goes into drive mode. I mean, basically, I could just pretty much press on the gas pedal, and it's already turning from a regular screen to a white screen, which means that the truck is in motion. Okay. So as soon as it's in motion, that's considered drive time.
It's
and that's it. You know, your clock starts as soon as you go on duty. It don't matter if I had to wait another 3 hours in the warehouse to get loaded.
That's what I'm asking. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now I have 11 hours left, so my drive time matches my on-duty time.
So that's what I was asking. So doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That time is the time.
Yeah.
And DOT is saying you were on the road for this many hours,
Exactly.
whether you were moving or not moving.
Moving or not moving.
That was my question. Okay, very interesting. Because I know they say back in the day they used to fudge the books.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
None of that anymore.
And quite frankly, you shouldn't, because I mean, you're driving a tractor trailer with people that you have to drive with on the roads that care nothing about safety. And I have to care about safety 100%.
I would hope you would, because
so I have to. My consciousness has to be alert to any and everything that could possibly happen. So, that's the one thing that wives don't understand when you come home, because the amount of energy you have to actually put into your cognitive ability to actually concentrate on the road is on a level that when you stop, you're done. You don't even want to think about anything anymore. You know what I mean? So, from the top, even from working, setting up a ramp, making sure it doesn't collapse, making sure I have nothing, no debris on the floor that I will slip on. Now, I've done this for 9 years. I haven't been out for an injury, thanks be to God. But I do get nicks and scratches and cuts and bruises, but I haven't, I try to make sure things are secure enough to operate in. So I will go into a store, I will make sure everything that, every area I'm about to move in to work in is clear for me to, get through and make the delivery. But now we're having a problem because, as you know, some of the product we put on the hand cart, some of this product is, I don't know, it's about maybe 250 pounds to 500 pounds on a hand cart. So now we have a situation with one of our companies that we distribute product to. They don't want us to pop the doors anymore. So now we got to hold the door and pull the product in it. You know how many injuries could come from that type of motion?
And so is they just, from a liability standpoint, they don't want the doors propped open.
Well, apparently they believe that this will cause rodents to go into the store, and that's why they have a rodent problem.
So the 5 minutes to 10 minutes from truck to store, as you're coming in, they don't want the door propped because rodents are coming in. So they'll risk the injury of you.
Yes. And I'm talking about one stop can be about 8,000 pounds. Because it'll be like 250, 300 cases. So they might as well have somebody there open the door every time we come in, so we don't have to strain to open the door, hold it, pull ourselves, shift our body in an unnatural way to pull this thing through the door without damaging the door. Because you remember, some of those doors got the spring action.
They got spring action.
So they just made it 10 times harder for all of our drivers.
And you're solo.
And this is
not always a two-man team.
This is a well-known company. They're trying to blame us for their personal rodent problem.
the behind-the-scenes things that people don't know about.
Yeah.
It's just an assumption.
Yeah. Well. Apparently there was something that was revealed about this store that one of our drivers said, and that was a retaliatory act.
Okay.
But it won't be put out that way.
That was the retaliatory act versus what was said.
Right.
Something was exposed.
And
this was the
retaliatory act.
Wow. So let me ask you this. You say you're more local now in the Virginia area versus being over the road. What part of the country was the most relaxing or easiest driving?
The Midwest.
The Midwest.
It's
hectic or it's over here.
Well, so in the Midwest knows trucking. I mean, just think about it this way. You got farming, you got trucking. You got oil refineries and stuff like that. Some of those places there's really not a lot of jobs, so people drive trucks. So a lot of family members respect trucks.
The open road.
Here on the East Coast, West Coast, man, they could care less about trucking.
Yeah.
But yet they want that Starbucks coffee.
They want
trust me.
They just don't want you in the way.
No, they don't want us to slow them up on the ramps. They don't want us to get off. When we're getting on the highway, they don't want us to slow. They want they want us to move faster. You know, so we can tip our trailer over. You know, when we're getting off the ramp, you know, they want us to move faster so they can get to the, you know, their offices or wherever they work.
I get it.
And it's like, I mean, just be patient for a second. You know, you'll have your time to speedball once you get past me. Oh, by the way, we're both going to stop at that light.
There you go. And I say this all the time. We all have that same common interaction, whether you're in a car or a truck.
Right.
With me being in the box truck over the last 10, 11 years, I have a different respect for the semis, the 18-wheelers, and the bigger trucks, and even trucks of my size, because I know what it is. Because people don't understand the weight in the truck, whether it's a box truck or a semi.
No, they don't.
And what it takes to slow down, the maneuverability.
Well, for one, some of the box trucks have air brakes. I don't mean to cut you off. I mean, they have, some of them have air brakes, some of them don't.
Right.
Air brakes is not something you want to be playing with, because first of all, with air brakes, we do know that the brakes are only coming on because when you press the brakes, you cut off the flow of air to your brakes. Are you kidding me? So that means without them, your brakes is coming on automatically.
Right.
You know, that's the difference. You know, so that system working in itself is like, you know, it ain't no joke. I mean, if I press on my brake fully, it's gonna do the anti-brake stopping mechanism. I'm just gonna still go, and I'm gonna crash right in front of, right into you.
Yeah, so I get it, and people need to be more respectable of that. So I hope that more people become more aware.
I hope so. Yeah.
And like I said, I have a different level of respect for you guys, and I know what it is. But the rest of the world doesn't. They just want to get where they want to get, and they want us out the way.
Out the way.
So the Midwest.
Hey, you drive a box truck. We could put everything on box trucks and see how how good that goes, because you know it's shorter. It doesn't, you know, you can't cover as much stuff. You have to make more trips.
So many more trips. And I know some people that drive the next level, the box trucks, the bigger ones. Because of the high gate, they're the same level as you guys. And that's a big business as well. And, it's really been taken off since COVID.
Yes.
And a lot of people have been switching up and going that route. So I respect it all the way around. So the Midwest is more respectable as far as on the road, and I get it, because I've been out there, and when I went to school in Minnesota, the farms and open land, as me and my partner used to say. It's just a difference of respect, so I get it. Thank you for sharing that with us.
There's Midwest truckers that don't want to come to the East Coast. I mean, especially from like maybe past, I don't know, Virginia, Virginia on up, or, you know, maybe even North Carolina. They don't. They won't go into Connecticut, Vermont, New England, you know, none of New England, especially New York City.
Northeast, the East Coast is just something else, man. It's just the speed, the speed of life. They just live so fast.
Yeah, they do.
We do. I'm not gonna say they. I'm gonna say we.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Virginia is caught up to New York.
It used to be a slower speed, and they have caught up all the way. All my life, I know exactly what you're saying. I was just having that conversation with somebody, which is, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing.
See, this isn't the city, but look at the population.
Right. Right. It's so much different. It was another question I had for you before I let you get out. And again, I thank you so much for taking the time and speaking with me and sharing this good information for people that don't know. When you were talking about the product and percentages, it reminds me of the bread, because we work off of percentages.
Exactly.
And I think some people look at trucking as just they pick up the product, move it, and they work an hourly wage or work for a company. So is there room, or is there still a market for people to get into your business?
Oh yeah, so right now we're so lax. We're allowing people to come in that haven't had 2 years of experience. So they're actually able to train with someone like me. Because I'm a senior driver, so I'm not a certified trainer because of my route. It's you have to have class. You have to be able to get on certain bases and stuff. So everyone doesn't, so they don't send people with me. Plus, a lot of people don't want to do a 2-day route. So I'll leave out Sunday and won't come back home to Tuesday morning.
Break down the difference between Class B, Class C, or like air brakes. Like, what's the different license levels?
Well, I mean, if you get a Class A, I mean, you have to have air brakes, combination vehicles. You have to take a couple of tests. You have to take those tests. General knowledge exam. You have to do that. So if you want to have any endorsements, you have to do those, like hazmat.
Right.
You have to have, if you want to, it has nothing to do with tractor trailer, but if you want to drive a school bus, you have to have an S endorsement. If you commercial passenger, you have to have a passenger endorsement to drive like Greyhound, some type of company like that.
So you could drive Greyhound, but you can't be.
I can't drive. I have a CDL.
If someone was to drive for Greyhound or drive a bus,
they have to have
they could drive
P endorsement.
Tractor trailer.
They have to have a P endorsement to drive a Greyhound bus, and no, they cannot drive a tractor trailer. They have to have the combination of air brakes test.
What would be the one where you could drive everything?
Oh man,
those are just different levels of.
Those are different levels. So if you got a Class A, you could drive anything as long as you have the endorsement.
Okay.
You have to have those endorsements. I have a tanker endorsement, and of course, triples and doubles. So I have two. I didn't want hazmat endorsement because they hold you at an even higher standard, which means you can't do anything.
Okay. So
not only that, this is a difference. When you attach a hazmat, I have to go for a DOT physical every 2 years.
Okay.
But if you get a hazmat, you have to go every year.
Okay. So I remember someone I knew was trying to get their license to drive a truck, and they were fine. They passed everything. They did everything. When they went to get the physical, they wouldn't let them go any further because they had sleep apnea.
Yes, they asked you that.
But they didn't even know they had sleep apnea. But when they did the physical, I guess they tested them for that. They tested them and asked them questions.
It's mostly the questions they probably asked them. Maybe if they snore or something.
That's what it was. I think something to that effect. Don't hold me to that, but I think it was something like that.
I mean, they ask a lot of questions. Those questions that they ask, can prevent you from driving the truck.
And maybe they told him they had sleep apnea, and they told him,
that's just as bad as a truck driver, telling a police officer he crashed into a car in front of him because he was tired. That's equivalent to being drunk.
Yes. So again, I don't want to know. I can't remember verbatim how the conversation went, but I think that's what he might have said. They asked him about his sleep apnea, and that kind of negated everything, and he couldn't go any further. So.
Well, see, one thing about me, I have to sleep in day, and so I switch my schedule on the weekends. So I drive at night. I have to sleep in the day. So I'm going to get 8 hours of sleep today. But, everybody can't sleep like me. See, I can go to sleep now and just go to sleep. And some people, if they get up in the morning, they can't go back to sleep till later in the evening.
And I'm familiar with those sleep habits. When I first started doing the bread, I'm going to bed at 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock, nothing. And waking up at 12. Like it was nothing. So my sleep habits are similar to yours. I have room darkened shades, and I can go to sleep anywhere.
It doesn't make
a difference. No. We're trained. Our bodies have that.
Exactly.
We're trained like
that. Well, particularly, I was always since a kid, I was always a night owl. It's just ironic I have a job I work at night.
I'm with you. I've always been a third shift person. So
I did electrical work. So my problem was that I didn't like having to be at a job site at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
It's like, why are we here? And then it's cold, and then they want, we're in an unfinished building like this.
You're in a shell.
In a shell of a building, and then we got to pull wire through the ceiling to do branch wire. And are you kidding me? Yeah. And when they call me and say, do you want to come train? Do you want to come for orientation for a company? I went with U.S. Express. So, I went there for 14 months, and then after that, I was like, peace, because I didn't go in with them under a CDL program.
Right.
I got the money from loan to pay for my CDL school, and then they took on the payments.
Right. Smart.
So I could leave, and then now the new company, they pay me enough to pay my own. Now it's
smart. Work the system.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I respect it.
Yep.
I respect it. Okay.
But I don't know with our type of work. Food service is very necessary. But I'm gonna tell you right now, most truckers just want to drop a hook. They want to be able to get to a dock, back up, either live unload or drop the trailer, go pick up empty, and go back to wherever they came from.
That's what I was going to ask, because that's why I asked you about the loading and unloading. And I know a few guys that do the drop, they unhook, pull off,
it's easy.
Back in, and that's
it's easy.
There's different levels.
Yeah, and some of that pays well, but I guarantee the ones that do pay well, you won't get a job there because the people that are there aren't leaving.
They're never going to go. They don't have that type of rotation.
Yeah.
So I get it. So thank you, and I'm going to wrap in a minute, but that's where I was going with it. So what do you see? How much longer do you think you'll be doing what you're doing?
I'm currently 45. I don't want to be doing this more than the most 10 years.
Okay.
So I probably want to be more transitioning to not owning my own trucks. I want to go somewhere else.
Okay.
But it definitely would be if I work for someone, it more or less be contract type work.
Contracting. Now, do you see yourself maybe setting up a system or a program where you would have some guys working? The logistics. How to set the system up. Could you figure yourself setting up a little system of your own where you have some guys under you?
Absolutely, but it wouldn't be in trucking because trucking is too highly regulated.
Got you.
You can't. You can make a lot of money, and there's mega carriers, and they're knocking everybody out. So they can have 100 trucks go pick up loads way cheaper than you would. And if freight is short, guess who's going to take it with no problem?
They will.
And the solo drivers, they can't take them loads. You ain't paying $3 a mile. They can't take those loads. They're not going to make any money off those loads. Right. And they're being forced to take the loads anyway. And then they have maintenance issues because,
that overhead.
Yeah.
That overhead is what gets everyone, even with us in our industry.
Exactly.
The overhead is what we have to account for, and people come into the business not accounting for it.
Oh.
They end up hurting themselves in the long run.
Exactly.
So that's good. So the exit plan is to stay affiliated with the business in a different capacity. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I want to thank you again for sharing. Tell people your name again, and if you don't mind, the company you work for.
Yeah, my name is Trenton. I work for Performance Food Service under Performance Food Group.
Performance Food Service under Performance Food Group. Mm-hmm. And they are currently hiring.
If
someone wanted to go on.
Oh yes, they're always hiring. There's any job that you have to do.
Are they just in the Virginia area or all over the country?
Man, Performance Food Group is
worldwide.
Yeah, I don't. Actually, I don't even know if
I'm
they're
just asking.
worldwide.
I don't know either. Okay.
I would have to do a little more research on that.
Not a
I mean, because
problem. That's fine.
we were actually bought out. I was under a company called Reinhardt Food Service,
Okay.
who was under the umbrella of, guess who? Reyes Holdings.
Okay.
Reyes Holdings. So
Okay.
we was sold to Performance Food Group.
Okay. So now it's Performance Food Group.
And you know, they're definitely not a bad company. You know, they compensate the drivers pretty well.
That's what we like to hear. Good for you.
But you will have to work. Yeah.
All right. So Performance Food Group. All right. Again, thank you for sharing with us.
Definitely.
Appreciate your time. Stay safe out there on the road.
All right.
Real Bread Life. That's all we got for now. Stay blessed and keep stacking. Like, subscribe, share, and show us some love. Thank you. See you on the next episode. Like to thank everybody for listening to Real Bread Life, watching Real Bread Life on YouTube, and tuning in on all platforms. Continue to do so. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, family member, and let's help to grow as a community all together. Thanks again. Stay blessed and keep stacking.